some of the commentary coming out of that dressing room. You can tell the guys feel bad for Stammer to be dealing with yet another long-term injury. What can you tell us about what's going on there?
Well, the Lightning are pretty quiet about this. They admitted last night that he went on long-term injured reserve. There were some rumblings last weekend that this could go into the playoffs. If you listen to John Cooper today, he said that they didn't believe it was season ending, but we'll see when the timetable goes and when he recovers. But I had heard last weekend, Jackie, that there were some concerns that he would not be ready to play at the start of the playoffs. We'll see where this goes. I'm hoping that those rumors were incorrect. I'm hoping that he's able to come back as soon as possible. This is a guy who's been through enough, and he's got his Stanley Cup, and I kind of root for him to have the safest, healthiest career he can have. But there was certainly some concern that it would go into the postseason.
Elliotte, the Canadians feeling a little bit of pressure now with the Flames having won a couple of games in a row. We understand that Cole Caufield has been recalled from the AHL team. The Carey Price situation continues to unfold. Give us the latest on the Montreal scene as you know it, because pressure can mount there pretty quickly.
Math is still their friend, DJ.
Yes, it is.
Calgary needs to have an unbelievable finish to this season, but there's no question if they win tonight in regulation, they're going to put some real pressure on the Canadians. Here's the thing. Ben Sherratt is back tonight from injury, too, sooner than he was expected. That's good news for Montreal. Dominic Ducharme clarified today that Cole Caufield cannot be put on the active roster without moves. He's on the taxi squad right now, but he can't come onto the active roster until they have some other situations that they move off it financially to make room for his salary. And so that's because they're in long-term injury, his bonus cushion can't come off it. So basically what's going to have to happen is for him to play, the Canadians are going to need to do some cap maneuvering, because right now, as it stands, they don't have the cap flexibility to put him on the active roster. But as you saw in those highlights there, he seems pretty close to being ready for it. He was good for the AHL.
Well, I know that fans in Montreal are excited to see this year's Hobey Baker Award winner at some point in the very near future in Cole Caufield. But I'll ask you about Adam Lowry. We're hearing that he signed an extension with the Winnipeg Jets. When did that discussion start, and what can you tell us on that front?
Well, one of the things that is interesting is that Adam Lowry is represented by a group called Newport, who also represents Scott Lawton, who just signed in Philadelphia. And those contracts are very similar. Lawton signed for 5 times 3, as you guys have on the screen. Lowry signed for 5 times 325. So obviously, I think that the two contracts have a lot to do with each other. Lowry gets a slight raise, and I can tell you when we tweeted out this afternoon that the contract talks were progressing well and it looked they were optimistic it was going to get done, I got some text from a couple of teams saying, "Are you sure?" Kind of darn. I think Adam Lowry, if he would have been on the market this year, would have been a very sought-after player. He's got that Bill Lindsay kind of game to him, and people love that. But Winnipeg really loves him. His dad is an assistant coach on the team. They were going to find any way to keep him, and obviously he's happy there, and it got worked out.
I knew Adam as a kid when I played with David
in Florida.
So I knew him as a youngster, very youngster when he started.
He's gotten big.
Now to see him grow
big
and become that kind of an NHL player, yes. But it's very, very, very well-deserved deal.
Very well deserved. There was a lot of interest in him, no question about it.
Elliotte, one more for me. The Penguins last night. Jeff Carter made his debut with the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're wondering about the other big guy there, Geno Malkin. What his status is? When can we see him back in the lineup for Pittsburgh?
Well, he's skating, so that says to me we're getting close to there. I know whenever Ron Hextall's pretty quiet and Berkey isn't, and I have a feeling that Hextall's got Berkey locked up in some basement somewhere, so he can't say anything he's not supposed to. But he's skating. That says to me he's getting close. I think we're at a point where we could see him in the next couple of weeks.
All right, a very interesting division up at the top there as well in the East. Elliotte, thank you for the time. Always a pleasure, and have a great weekend.
All right, guys, you have a great weekend too.